Hello, and today we're going to be doing a series of reaction, looking at reactants and products that go into a reaction, doing a variety of different types of reaction. Some of them are going to be producing different gases, and we're going to be doing tests to help determine what gas is produced. So we have 5 different reactions we're going to look at. We'll go ahead and get started with part 1 and go all the way through part 5 and see what's being created in each step process. Thank you. Catch you later. So in this first reaction, we're going to have some hydrochloric acid. So we're just going to take the hydrochloric acid. You can use a pipette. I'm just going to pour it in. I've done it a few times. So we need about 5 milliliters in our test tube. So we got about 5 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. I'll put that in my test tube rack for now while we cut out a strip of magnesium. So this is a long strip of magnesium. We only need about 2 centimeters, or about a little under an inch of it. So I'm just going to take it, cut off about an inch, and give us a piece of this magnesium strip. It's a silver metal. Then I'll get a flaming wooden splint so we can get ready for our reaction. So we have our burning splint. For this reaction, we're just going to take our magnesium strip. We're going to drop it into the test tube with our hydrochloric acid. We'll hold our thumb over the top so the gas can't escape. So we have you can see the reaction going on inside that test tube. Magnesium strip, you can kind of see there on the end. And I got my thumb on the top, trapping that gas, and we'll take that burning splint, move it to the top of our test tube, and you should be able to hear that popping noise when you put that in. We'll try it again, see if we got enough magnesium left for it to react, and then do it again, and we got that popping noise again. If we look, our magnesium strip is just about gone. We got some bubbling, some fizzing going on, but for the most part our magnesium strip's gone, and at the end we should have no magnesium remaining. So that was the reaction of hydrochloric acid with magnesium. Produced a gas that caused our wooden splint to pop or kind of explode. For our next reaction, we're going to use hydrogen peroxide. This particular one is a 30% hydrogen peroxide solution. We want about 5 milliliters of that. So I'm going to put that 5 milliliters into a test tube. And we'll catch you once we got those 5 milliliters in our test tube. So now that we have our 5 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide, then we're going to add in some manganese dioxide. This manganese dioxide is actually going to be a catalyst for this reaction. It's not actually going to be used up in the reaction. It's a black powder we're going to have reacting. Before I put it in, I'm going to pause real quick and get a burning wooden splint again. So once again, we have a burning wooden splint. This time we actually want to blow it out and just have it glowing for our reaction. So I'm going to blow out and just have it glow. And then I'll add my manganese dioxide. So we just need a little bit of the manganese dioxide. I got it on a spatula, and I'm just going to drop it into my test tube. See, we get some bubbling. And when we drop our glowing splint in, it lights it back up. We'll blow it out again. Drop it in, and it lights our splint for us. So as we add this, we just have a glowing splint, and as we add it, it pops on fire. So again, you kind of see that from the top view, and it lights our splint on fire. So this was a reaction with hydrogen peroxide. You can see it's still bubbling pretty good. We got some steam coming out the top, and it caused our glowing wooden splint to light back on fire. The gas that it produces causes it to light on fire. So Now, again, the reaction of hydrogen peroxide with manganese dioxide. In our third reaction, we're going to be using vinegar and baking soda, and we're going to be reacting them within a test tube. So we're going to start off by just taking a scoop of our baking soda. Again, just one little scoop. So just a scoop of my baking soda. You don't spill it all on the table. So we got a scoop of baking soda. And then we're going to add some vinegar. So we'll move that baking soda out of our way. And then we'll add in some vinegar. So as we do that, you can see we got bubbling, we got fizzing coming from that reaction. Then we take our test tube with the burning with the reaction taking place. We have our burning splint. We bring our splint to the mouth of that test tube, and it causes our splint to go out. So once again, we have a burning splint again. We have our reaction with the baking soda and vinegar. We bring it to the mouth of that test tube, and it causes that flame to go out. So the gas that was produced from the reaction of the baking soda and vinegar is not allowing that flame to continue. So again, reaction of baking soda and vinegar gave us some bubbling, gave us some fizzing, and then caused the wooden splint to get burned out. For our fourth reaction, we're going to be using copper sulfate and zinc metal. We're going to start off by putting some zinc metal into our test tube. So we'll take out just a scoop of the zinc. We'll look at it. The zinc's, if I don't spill it all over the table. The zinc is a kind of silver powder, and we put that in our test tube. And you should see, if I move that out of the way, it's very silver in appearance. And then we'll add in some copper sulfate. Copper sulfate, you can see here in the background, it's very blue solution. We'll add in a few squirts of our copper sulfate. So now we got the copper sulfate in with our zinc. You can already see the appearance of our zinc has changed color. It started off that silver color, and now it's turned into a very dark black coloration. We'll let it react for a couple minutes, and then we'll catch you once it's been a couple minutes. But you should already start to see what's going on in this reaction. So it's been a couple minutes. If we look back at our copper sulfate and zinc, you can see we got a clear black solid forming at the bottom of our test tube, and this lighter blue solution. It was a darker blue when we begun, and now it's a little bit of a lighter blue in appearance. So that's again a reaction of copper sulfate with zinc. In our final reaction, we're going to have copper chloride and sodium hydroxide, and we're just going to combine them together in our last test tube. As we do this reaction, it doesn't matter which one we put in first. In this case, I'm going to start with the copper chloride. So I'm just starting with the copper chloride. I'm just going to take one pipette full of each solution. So I'm going to start with my calcium chloride. You can see it's a very clear solution. Sodium hydroxide is also a clear solution, colorless solution. So we're going to add in our sodium hydroxide into our calcium chloride. And you can see these two clear solutions combine to make a very white, cloudy solution. That white precipitates formed in this test. So that's again the reaction of copper chloride and sodium hydroxide forming a white precipitate. So we've completed our 5 different reactions. Hopefully you were able to see how that production of gas differed in how it reacted with how it affected the flame between our first one with hydrochloric acid and magnesium, our second one with the hydrogen peroxide and manganese dioxide, and our third one with the vinegar and baking soda. Each one affected our flame a little differently. Then we had a couple other reactions there at the end with copper sulfate and zinc, and finally calcium fluoride and sodium hydroxide. So each one created different types of products. Hopefully this was a little bit beneficial. If you have any questions, shoot them below. Thank you. Have a good day.